Have you ever wondered why World War II, one of the most devastating events in human history, occurred and how it ended? This global conflict, which spanned 6 years and involved over 30 countries, forever altered the course of modern history. Understanding the historical context of World War II is crucial to grasping the complexities of the world we live in today. The factors that led to the outbreak of the war are numerous and interconnected, with roots deeply embedded in the aftermath of the First World War. The Treaty of Versailles, intended to ensure peace, instead sowed the seeds of resentment and economic instability. In this fertile ground, the sinister tendrils of fascism and totalitarian regimes took hold, promising order and strength in the face of chaos and weakness. As we delve into this dark period of history, we must remember the old adage: those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. In 1939, the world was plunged into chaos once again. The calm before the storm was shattered when Germany, under the rule of Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland in a strategic move that would mark the beginning of World War II. This act of aggression was not taken lightly by the international community. Britain and France, two of Europe's major powers, responded by declaring war on Germany. This marked the formation of two opposing factions, the Axis and Allied powers. The Axis powers, primarily Germany, Italy, and Japan, sought to expand their territories through military conquest. On the other hand, the Allied powers, led by Britain, France, the Soviet Union, and later the United States, pledged to stop this expansion and restore peace. These nations, with their diverse cultures and ideologies, found themselves entangled in a web of alliances and enmities, each with their own agenda, and each prepared to fight for it. And so the stage was set for a global conflict unlike any the world had seen before. As the war raged on, key events began to turn the tide in favor of the Allies. Among these events was the Battle of Britain. In the summer and fall of 1940, the German Luftwaffe, hell-bent on gaining air superiority, launched relentless attacks over Britain. However, the British Royal Air Force valiantly defended their skies, and despite being outnumbered, they repelled the German assault. This battle marked the first major defeat of Hitler's military forces, shaking the seemingly invincible image of the Nazi war machine. At the same time, Hitler made a decisive mistake by invading the Soviet Union in June 1941. The operation, codenamed Barbarossa, was intended to secure vast territories and resources for Germany. But the harsh Russian winter and the fierce resistance of the Red Army proved too much for the German forces. The invasion ended in a disastrous defeat, stretching the German resources thin and opening up the Eastern Front. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the United States had maintained a stance of neutrality. But everything changed on December 7, 1941, when Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. The assault led to the direct involvement of the United States in the war. With its industrial strength and vast resources, the entry of the United States into the conflict was a significant boost for the Allies. These three key events, the Battle of Britain, the failed invasion of the Soviet Union, and the attack on Pearl Harbor, were turning points in the Second World War. They fractured the momentum of the Axis powers and bolstered the strength of the Allies. The tide of the war began to turn, and the balance of power subtly shifted. With these events, the balance of power began to shift, setting the stage for the final chapters of this global conflict. By 1945, the end was in sight. As the year dawned, the tide of World War II was irrevocably turning. The Allies, through their collective strength and resolve, were pushing back the forces of tyranny. The monumental D-Day invasion, which took place in June of 1944, was a turning point. Thousands of troops stormed the beaches of Normandy, France, marking the start of a decisive campaign to liberate Western Europe from Nazi control. The bravery and sacrifice of those soldiers on the shores of Normandy would echo throughout history. As the Allies advanced, the Axis powers began to crumble. April 1945 saw the fall of Berlin, the heart of the Nazi regime. The once mighty city, now a symbol of devastation and defeat, was captured by Soviet forces after a fierce and bloody battle. Within the depths of his bunker, Adolf Hitler, the instigator of this global conflict, chose suicide over capture, closing a dark chapter in human history. Yet the end of the war was not immediate. Across the globe, in the Pacific Theater, the conflict raged on. The United States, eager to bring an end to the war and save lives, made a decision that would forever alter the course of history. In August 1945, 2 atomic bombs were dropped on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The devastation was unimaginable, the human toll, heart-wrenching. The shock and horror of these bombings led to Japan's surrender, marking the end of World War II. On September 2, 1945, World War II officially ended, leaving a world forever changed in its wake. The echoes of this war reverberate to this day, a stark reminder of the cost of conflict, the importance of unity, and the enduring spirit of humanity. World War II, a war that claimed the lives of millions, ended over 7 decades ago. It was a war that shook the very foundations of human civilization and forever altered the course of world history. Its shadows still loom over us, not as a grim reminder of destruction, but as a testament to human resilience and our capacity to rebuild. In our journey through this historical period, we've traversed the beginnings of the war, the turning tides, and finally the conclusion. We've witnessed the rise and fall of ideologies, the courage of nations, and the cost of global conflict. This war, in its vast complexity, has shown us the depths of human cruelty, but also the heights of our courage and unity. The aftermath of World War II was a turning point in world history, birthing new global structures and ushering in an era of relative peace. The establishment of the United Nations stands as a beacon of this change, a symbol of global unity and cooperation. Its creation was a direct response to the horrors of the war, a collective effort to prevent such a catastrophe from recurring. The lessons from World War II were etched into its charter, serving as a guide for nations to navigate the complexities of international relations. The lessons from this turbulent period are numerous and profound. They speak of the dangers of unchecked aggression, the devastation of total war, and the necessity of unity and cooperation. They remind us of the importance of diplomacy, the value of human rights, and the imperative of peace. But perhaps the greatest lesson is the one that resonates with us the most. That history, in all its complexity and nuance, is a teacher. It allows us to learn from the past to shape a better future. As we remember World War II, let us strive to understand its causes and effects, so we may work towards a future where such a conflict never occurs again. Let this be our commitment to ourselves and to the generations that follow, because the lessons of history are the keys to our future.